Ara-Kara City of Echoes is back on the menu. Let's not waste any time and dive right in. Avanoxx is the first boss of the dungeon and is an ad control encounter. This fight can get out of control quite quickly if you aren't careful. Starting off, we have the tank buster Voracious Bite, which will deal 3 large hits to the tank and apply a debuff, which makes them take 50% more damage for 10 seconds. Make sure you're maintaining mitigation during this event and use a defensive on this cast. Next, we have Alarming Shrill. This will deal physical damage to all players, but more importantly, this will cause the egg clusters that are in the boss arena to hatch, spawning 4 fixating ads. These do tend to fixate non-tank players, so DPS will want to swap to these ads as soon as possible so they don't get out of control. If an ad is fixating you, make sure you don't kite it into the boss. If an ad gets too close, the boss will consume it, gaining a massive damage increase for a long duration, generally resulting in a wipe if groups aren't prepared. The final mechanic is Gossamer Onslaught, which will rain down webs onto players while dealing group damage. Make sure you aren't getting clipped by a swirl, and bonus points if you're stacking as a group. All swirls will leave behind webs that will deal damage and slow players standing in them, so use your space wisely. Simply rinse and repeat. The Nerubian general Anub'Zekt is a dot management fight. Throughout the encounter, the boss will debuff players with a Ravenous Swarm, dealing heavy damage over its duration to the afflicted player, and then leaving behind a tornado of insects upon expiration. This will never target the same player twice in a row, and has a tendency to rotate through your entire party before starting anew. The boss will target a tank with Impale. Tanks can aim this near the edge of the room away from your group, but all players, including the tank, should simply avoid it. The boss will then cast Burrow Charge, which will target a random player, preferring range, and charge after a short period of time, dealing heavy damage to all players in its path. This should be sent towards a far wall, and the targeted player should use movement speed to avoid getting hit. Following this charge, the boss generally targets the charged player with a frontal, so just avoid it. Last but not least, the boss will occasionally call web mages to assist him in combat, attempting to root and deal damage to players. Kick these casts, and tank, make sure you're picking up the red. Once the boss reaches 100 energy, he's going to move to the center of the room and cast Eye of the Swarm, which will spawn a rotating swarm of insects. Players need to move to the safe area, dodge tornadoes, and avoid getting hit by the frontal. Tanks, it's common courtesy to aim this frontal to the right side so your group has the most amount of room possible. Kikatal the Harvester has been significantly nerfed since the last time players were here. Kikatal only has a few core mechanics. First, Erupting Web will spawn swirls across the playable space. Players will want to avoid getting hit by this, or they will be stunned for a few seconds. She will then target 3 players with Cultivated Poisons. This will deal damage over its duration, and upon expiration or removal, it sends waves in the direction indicated by the player. Spread out and dispel if you can. Lastly, the boss will suck players towards her by casting Cosmic Singularity. If you happen to get hit by this ability, it'll deal near lethal damage, and if you happen to live somehow, you'll be doing 75% less damage for 20 seconds. The way you avoid getting hit by this is by killing bloodworkers entering the playable area. Defeating a bloodworker spawns a pool of black blood that will root players who are found within the residue. When you are rooted, it's because of an ad that spawns that is channeling said root. Once the singularity cast finishes, players can simply interrupt, crowd control, or use utility spells to remove the root. Ads don't really melee that hard, but tanks should do their best to peel the black blood mobs off of any party members. After a simple repetition of these mechanics, Kikatal will fall and you will be sad seeing no Sackbrood. Best of luck out there, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.